Good afternoon, second grade. I hope this cold, dark, wintry day finds you well. But did you ever wonder why we have cold, dark, winter days? Did you ever wake up this morning and go, wait a minute? Well, this happened to me today. I woke up my normal time around 5:30, and it was dark. It was pitch black. I could see the moon. I could see stars. So I did my morning stuff. I showered. I drank my coffee. I drove to work. It was 7 o'clock and the sun wasn't up yet. And I thought, what a cold, dark morning. And then I thought about last night. And I thought, wait a minute. When I ate dinner, it was dark outside and cold. And in fact, it was dark by like 5 o'clock at night. So I'm eating dinner in the dark. I stayed up. I read some books in the dark. I went to bed pretty early because it got dark really early. And then I remembered, wait a minute. I remember last 4th of July when I had to stay up late to watch fireworks. It didn't get dark enough to see fireworks until 9:30 at night. Why is it that it got dark at 9:30 at night in July, but 4:30 at night in December? What is it that happens? I remember that during the summer, when we don't have school, and I can sleep in late if I want to, man, that sun gets up early. The sky is bright and sunny like 6 o'clock in the morning. But when I drove to school at 7, it was still dark in December. What's happening? Why are some days so long and sunny and warm, and some days are so short, and dark, and cold? Today we're going to talk about the shortest day of the year. It's called the winter solstice. Now, when I say the shortest day of the year, you should know every day is exactly the same length. Every day is 24 hours. When I say the shortest day of the year, I mean, how much daylight do we have? How long between when the sun rises and when the sun sets? During the summertime, the sun rises at about 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and it sets 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night. There's 14, 15, 16 hours of sunlight. During the wintertime, the sun rises about 7:30, sets around 4:30. That's like 8 or 9 hours of daylight. So we call these the shortest days of the year. And that's what we're coming into right now. The very shortest day of the year is December 21st. So next week, 4 days before Christmas. But Mr. Harriman, why? What causes this to happen? Why are the days long and sunny or short and dark? Well, it has to do with basically two things. One is the earth, and one, let's see, there we go. One is the earth, and the other is the sun. That's maybe not surprising. So, to show you what's happening, to make this difference in time and warmth, I'm going to use this as our sun. That is the sun. This is the earth. The important thing for you to know is the earth isn't up and down like this. Here's the North Pole, and here's the South Pole. The thing is, the North Pole isn't exactly on the top, and the South Pole isn't exactly on the bottom. The earth is tilted, quite a bit actually. The earth, to make 1 year, you turn on my sun, there it is. The earth takes one trip around the sun every year. So we'll say this as January 1st, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. There's one trip around the sun. That's a year. Now, during that year, it's winter, spring, summer, fall, winter, spring, summer, fall. What does the Earth revolving around the sun have to do with the seasons and the warmth and the daylight? Well, here's what your grown-ups might say, and they're wrong. Ask them what causes the seasons and the difference in the length of day. Somebody out there is going to say, during the summer, the Earth is close to the sun. During the winter, it's very far away from the sun. And as it comes back, it gets close to the sun again. And as it goes in, it's summertime. And as it goes away, it's farther away, it gets cold. And then it gets closer in, it gets warm. And then farther away, and it gets cold. That's not right. That's actually not what happens. And you might know more than your grown-ups after this lesson. The key is in the tilt. So here's where we live. We're in North America. North America is in the top half of the Earth, the northern part. During the summer, the north is tilted toward the sun. Look at all that heat. Look at all that light. Look at all that energy. Plants are soaking up the sunlight. The sun's coming up early, lots of time to grow, lots of time to heal, lots of time to heat up the Earth. But the Earth keeps its tilt as it rotates around the sun. And as it comes over here, it's still the same distance away, hasn't gotten any closer or any further away from the sun. But look, here's where we live. We're tilting away from the sun now. We're not getting nearly as much heat. We're not getting nearly as much light. We're not getting nearly as much warmth. And things get colder and darker and the days get shorter. We keep the tilt as the Earth goes around the sun. Now it's summer again, and we're tilting toward the sun. And we're getting all of that daylight again, heating up the Earth, heating up the water. Plants are growing again. So the Earth keeps its tilt as it goes around the sun, just like that. Let me show you a different way to think about this. I have a flashlight. Let's pretend our flashlight is the sunlight. Ready? It's a pretty good flashlight. Boom. The sun is directly overhead. We are tilting toward the sun in the summertime. Look at all that intense light. Look at all that intense energy, all that strong heat. But as we start to tilt away from the sun, we cause the sun to kind of go like that. And it's not hitting us at a direct angle. It's hitting us at a lower angle in the sky. So if you're right there, you're not getting as much light. Look how much, there's not very much light there. In the summertime, lots of light. In the wintertime, not as much light. Let me read you a book that's going to go over what I just talked about. This is called The Shortest Day, celebrating the winter solstice. So there's that word, solstice. In late autumn, in the northern part of the world, squirrels hide nuts, foxes grow thick fur coats, and flocks of birds fly to warmer places. This looks like something I was just talking about. The sun rises later each morning and sets earlier each evening. Each day it appears lower in the southern sky. As the sun gets lower and lower, the north gets less and less daylight. The air grows colder. Chickadees fluff their feathers to keep warm. Woodchucks hibernate in their burrows, and white-tailed deer nuzzle through the snow to find the last blades of grass. So look, here's the sun. I don't know if you've noticed, go outside and look. The sun is not directly overhead. It's way down low in the sky. On short winter days, children bundle in warm clothes and walk through a frosty white world, dragging long shadows behind them. On long winter nights, families eat together while it's still dark outside. Children wonder when the days will get long again so they can play outside after dinner like they did in summer. In the north, on or around December 21st, the sun reaches its lowest point on the horizon. So the sun is getting lower and lower and lower in the sky every day until December 21st, making that day the shortest day of the year. Like all days, December 21st has 24 hours, but it's called the shortest day because it has the fewest hours of daylight. The shortest day, called the winter solstice, is the beginning of winter, and in some places, winter means cold, nose-nipping weather. The earth, here's what we talked about. The earth tilts as it moves around the sun. When the northern part of the earth tilts away from the sun, the north gets less heat and light than the southern part. Now, this is a little bit of history about how people treat the winter solstice. Long ago, people didn't understand how the earth tilts and moves around the sun. They didn't understand why each day had less sunshine than the day before. Some believed evil spirits made the sun go away. People feared that the sun wouldn't shine on them anymore, making their world cold and dreary dark. They needed the sun's warmth and light. So did their plants, which they needed for food. They held ceremonies that lasted for weeks to persuade their gods to bring the sun back. Over the years, people noticed that after short days, the days gradually got longer. Joyous people bathed in the sun's warmth and light, and they celebrated their harvest. About 5,000 years ago, people who study the sky noticed that day after day, the sun sets in different places on the western horizon. They discovered that when the sun sets farthest south, that was the shortest day. These early astronomers planned to mark the shortest day. Then each year, people would know when the days would start getting longer again. Over 2,000 years ago, Romans celebrated the shortest day with festivals and merrymaking. They gave evergreen branches to friends as a sign of good luck. Evergreen wreaths decorated their door. This might sound familiar. Since these plants stayed green when others turned brown, they reminded the Romans of the coming spring. Mistletoe and holly hung in their homes because plants that survived the harsh winters were symbols of life. Many people believed these plants would bring strength to their families. Today, people still celebrate at the beginning of winter by decorating their houses, lighting the darkness, gathering together, and exchanging gifts. They no longer worry that the sun will disappear forever. People know that days get colder when their part of the earth tilts away from the sun. They know that days get shorter when the sun appears lower in the sky. People celebrate the shortest day because longer days follow. Flocks of birds will return. Seedling oak trees will sprout, and children can play outside after dinner. For more than 5,000 years, people have welcomed the winter solstice because it's a new beginning. So here's a drawing that shows the Earth going around the sun, tilting toward the sun for warmth, and heat, and light in summertime, tilting away from the sun, and that's going to bring cold, short, dark days. So here is your assignment. You are going to measure where the sun hits on December 21st. If you can't do it on December 21st, maybe you forgot, maybe it's too cloudy for what we're going to do. For whatever reason, if you can't do it on December 21st, that's okay. Find a day that's close enough. Here's what you need to do. You need to find a place in your house or outside on a sunny day, and at lunchtime, you're going to mark where the sun is hitting on the wall or on the floor, or you can do this. At noon, stand outside on a sunny spot. So don't do it too late in the day. Don't do it like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't do it too early. Do it around noon, around 12 o'clock, lunchtime. Ask a friend to measure your shadow on the ground. So get this ruler or a tape measure, and you stand with your back to the sun and measure how long is your shadow on one of the shortest days of the year. Another thing you could do, if you can find a way to do it so it's permanent and your parents are okay with it, stand in that spot, mark it, have somebody else mark where your shadow hits, okay? Then go out and do it on the longest day of the year. Where is your shadow going to be on the longest day of the year? And mark that one too, and you'll see the difference in how low in the sky the sun is in the winter and how high the sun is in the middle of summer. Or you could do what I've done. Let me take you on a little tour here. And what I've done is, it's not a very sunny day right now, but when it was sunny, I went ahead and looked at where in my classroom the sun was hitting the floor at noon. Well, 12:30. I was a little late. 12:30 is fine. You don't want to do it much after 1:30 or 2. But at 12:30, I had direct sunlight coming into my classroom, and I marked it right there. It says December 15th at 12:30. Now, I need to leave that there